We spend so much time glued to the headlines coming out of the Strait of Hormuz, the nuclear posturing, the speedboats, the high stakes diplomacy, that sometimes the most significant shifts happen in the shadows, where the cameras aren't pointing. Have you been tracking what happened in northeastern Nigeria?
It's a classic case of misdirection, isn't it? While the world was looking left, the US and Nigerian forces were executing a masterclass in precision warfare. We're talking about the total removal of Abu Bilal al-Manuki. For those who don't follow the internal org charts of global terror, this guy wasn't just a field commander. He was the COO of ISIS, the financial architect, the guy who built the playbook.
It's wild. They didn't just take out a figurehead. They took out the engine. And the way they did it, this air-land synchronization, it sounds like something out of a techno thriller. Months of silent, persistent surveillance with MQ-9 Reapers just loitering at 40,000 feet, mapping a life pattern until the moment was perfect.
Exactly. And notice the shift in philosophy here. We've seen the US move away from massive, heavy footprints toward these lean, intelligent fusion cells. They lost their airbase in Nigeria last year, so what did they do? They just set up shop next door. It's the military equivalent of, fine, if I can't play in your yard, I'll buy the house next to it and keep the lights on.
It's a very pragmatic way to handle international relations. But beyond the tech, the F-15S, the laser-guided JDAMs, there's a deeper, almost philosophical point here about how these groups operate. They think they're a legitimate state-like entity. They have tax systems, governance structures, even a drone academy. It's a business model, and the US just liquidated the CEO.
Right, and that's the vulnerability. When you build a system that relies on a single, brilliant, and brutal central figure to manage the finances and the tech, you create a massive single point of failure. By taking him out, the entire global organism goes into shock. They're scrambling for a replacement who likely doesn't have the same network or the same technical expertise.
But let's play devil's advocate for a second. Is this a permanent fix, or are we just playing a very expensive game of whack-a-mole? I mean, they've been at this for 17 years in the Lake Chad Basin.
That's the million-dollar question. You're right to be skeptical. The Hydra effect is real. You cut off one head, two more grow back. But the real game changer here isn't just the tactical strike. It's the intelligence they gathered on the ground. When you conduct a raid like this, you aren't just killing a target. You're vacuuming up hard drives, maps, and financial ledgers. That data is the real weapon.
Speaking of weapons, I couldn't help but notice the mention of tungsten in this whole operation. It's one of those things people don't think about, but it's literally the backbone of every advanced missile system we have. If China controls the supply chain, does that make all our high-tech targeting pods a liability?
You've hit on the most critical strategic tension of the next decade. Modern warfare isn't just fought with jets, it's fought in the mines. The fact that the US is now aggressively restarting domestic production and signing multi-billion-dollar stockpiling deals shows they realize that if you can't source the material, your superior technology is just an expensive paperweight.
It's fascinating how all these threads connect from a compound in Nigeria to a mine in Nevada to a drone swarm prototype. It's all one giant, interconnected grid.
It really is, and that's what we need to keep watching. As we look ahead, the question isn't just who the next terror leader is, but how the US adapts to this new era of gray zone conflicts. We're seeing a shift toward AI-integrated swarm technology, things like the Mayhem 10 drone. It's making the battlefield faster, more automated, and frankly, a lot more dangerous for anyone on the receiving end.
It's a sobering thought. We're moving into an era where precision is the baseline, not the exception. Before we wrap up, I have to ask, do you think the average person realizes how much of this shadow war is happening beneath the surface of the news cycle?
Probably not, and that's by design. The complexity is the camouflage. But if you start paying attention to the supply chains, the strategic mineral deals, and the quiet shifts in military basing, you start to see the real map of the world. It's not just about borders anymore. It's about control over the systems that make the modern world run.
A lot to digest, and definitely a lot to watch for in the coming months. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the fall of a global terror kingpin to the future of mineral-backed defense. It's a complex, often dark, but undeniably fascinating landscape.
It is. And as these stories evolve, we'll be here to break them down. Thanks for joining us in this deep dive. Keep asking the hard questions, and we'll keep looking for the answers. We'll catch you on the next one.